Good afternoon, everybody. As promised, we're going to do a video on kind of like my experiences and to go elaborate a little bit more. Not actually my experiences in the military and my time in the fire department, but my experiences and the feelings I had when I got out and the things I had to deal with and I'm still dealing with. And this is not a critique of how much you did or how much you didn't do, because I'm sure people did a lot more than me. And there's probably some who did less than me. So this is just, everybody handles things differently. And a lot of your upbringing probably helps with how you deal with things or the lack of dealing with things. So with that, I'll get into, I almost at the same time, I came back from a deployment and I retired from the fire department. And then I stayed guard for about 4 or 5 more months. And then I went in active reserves and decided to go to the civilian side. I didn't notice anything right away. But it took about, I'd say 6 months to a year. I started feeling things like anger, and then sometimes I'd get depressed. I couldn't explain it, but I tried to cover it up. And no matter how much you try to cover it up, the ones closest to you tend to notice. So it was kind of, I couldn't really relate to anybody. I'd hear people's stories and I was like, wow, okay. People on this, and this is not to knock anybody on who never served. It's just after being around military for so long and being around the fire department and the portion of the police department during my time, it's just different. And then I found myself not having a community or a group that I used to be around. I didn't think much about the time I spent in the Guard, that I was always being around the people that I had deployed with. And we all had similar experiences. People will sometimes, if you heard us joke around, would probably say that we have a very different sense of humor. The things we laugh at. And it's not that we're laughing at them. It's how we cope. And if we make light of our situations, that near-death situations, it's just an easier way to cope with. I have found myself, even to this day, and it's been a couple years since my last deployment, and I deployed 4 times. My first deployment was as a flight medic. My second was as a medevac pilot / flight medic. I had the opportunity to work as a flight medic for about a month or 2 on my deployment because we were short. And then my third deployment was heavy lift, and my last deployment was also as a flight medic, as a medevac pilot. So seeing different things, experiencing different things, kind of shapes who you become. And like I had stated previously, you get angry, and I don't even know why. I would go to the VA and they would tell me my coping mechanisms, it says that they were working. Well, obviously they weren't, because I was a very heavy drinker after my first deployment. And not that I would drink at home alone, but when I would go out, I would drink to excess. And it was a way to cover things up. The bad thing is, years later, people would tell me how angry I was after my first deployment and how easily I'd get set off. And I never noticed any of this. Went through many relationships because I just, you hurt good people for no reason. You take things for granted. You're just angry, and it was no fault of theirs. It's just mine. And then sometimes you feel alone a lot. I can be in a room of crowded with people, and I feel like I'm alone, or I don't want to be around anybody. And so you have to fight off, at least I try to fight off those urges, because no one in the room has caused anything to me to hurt me. So I feel like I don't need to take anything out on anybody. So you put on your best face and you work to, you smile, you joke a lot to cover up what you're feeling. And that's just how I dealt with things. And I don't know if this will relate to anybody, or maybe it does. As I've said, if it helps one person, that's all that matters to me. Maybe someone can relate to what I've been through. Maybe that's how they're feeling. I've been to the VA and been, you know, working on treatments. You know, it's an uphill battle. It's easy just to fall into the hole and not get back up. As the short video you guys saw that we put out earlier, you know, I use the analogy of don't ring the bell. I'm not going to give up. I have too much to live for. I have, as stated, you know, I have my 2 daughters and my wife, and I'm extremely fortunate, you know, that they're still with me. And you know, you will damage the relationships closest to you, and not willingly, not knowingly. You just, when you get home, you feel comfortable. Or not comfortable, it's the wrong word to use. Your guard is down. And because you don't want anybody to see you how broken you are. And you don't want people to talk about how broken you are, or you're weird or like that. So you put on a good face around others and you let that guard down when you get home. And unfortunately, you hurt the ones you love the most. I'd have a short temper. I've never hit, because that's, to me, is just, I mean, I could never do that. I would just not want to talk or snap back when I shouldn't have. And it gets, you know, you beat yourself up more than anything. And, you know, it's, you know, you look back and you realize what you've done, but at the time you don't know what you're doing. And so you try to guard yourself not to do it again. And then when you're home, you bottle it up because you don't want to take it out on them. And then you don't have a release. And then things just start getting bottled up inside. And some of my releases now are like working out. It's just what I do to kind of get my mind right. I read. And we'll go into that in the next video about what I do, and if it might work for you. I don't know if it will, but I know it's slowly starting to work for me. It's not going to happen overnight. It's just stick with it. We always want a quick fix, and it can't always be a quick fix. It might take months to years. Think of it as a campaign. You know, it's an hourly and a daily and a weekly, works into monthly, and finally you'll get to a year. Because not working with it or ignoring it for all those years, you've created a problem for yourself, and now you got to climb back out of that hole. And all I can say is don't give up and don't ring the bell. You might think that no one would care if you're gone, or, you know, I don't apply this to anybody. This is what I apply to myself, so don't assume that I apply it to other people. But for me, committing suicide was like the cowardly way out, because I felt like I would transfer my pain to my daughters, and I couldn't do that to them. They don't deserve that. And so for me, that is my motive. That's my purpose, to fight for them. So that's what I work on now, is that keeps me going every day. So don't give up. I mean, you matter probably to more people than you think you do. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, I think, you know, I could be gone and nobody would care. But people do care. You'd be amazed if you give people a chance. You are important to someone. You might think there's no one out there, but I'm sure there is. Think of your fellow service members, you know, who, you know, reach out to them. And that's another thing too. That's one of the whole reasons why we're doing this. You need someone to talk to, reach out to me. I've had some people reach out to me already, and we've just talked. I'll listen. I know what it's like when you have no one really to talk to, no one to express what's going on in your head sometimes. And so don't bottle it up. If you need to talk to someone just to get it out, I'll listen. I'll do what I can. We don't have a lot of resources yet. We're working on that. So if you want to talk, everything we talked about stays with me, and I'll do what I can with the limited resources that I have to help. Do whatever I can to help you. But don't give in. There's a lot when you get on the other side that you look forward to. I mean, I look at a lot of the vets from World War II and Korea, even those from Vietnam. Those guys, they didn't have what we have now. And they found a way to make it. I don't know how. That's why I would love to talk to them to learn how they made it. And that's why I think they're important for us to learn from, to get over these internal battles. And so that's why I think, we need a community, a place you can come and just hang out and be around other people who have similar experiences. And you can relate to, and just kind of let your guard down, just talk. No one's going to judge you. Another thing I missed too, that was hard to deal with, you go to work every morning at the fire department, you have the coffee table talk. You just hang out with everybody in the morning on your shift coming on. And, I never could understand why some of the retired guys would come and show up and just hang out and drink coffee with us in the morning. Now I know. I get it. It's home. It's what you did for like 20, 25, 30 years. And just to stop that, it takes some time dealing with. And so I understand that now. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now, unfortunately. So don't give up the fight. I mean, you're going to feel alone. You're going to feel like you don't matter sometimes, but you do. Just find something, no matter how small it is, every day. Find a purpose, find a motive to continue. And one day it'll turn into two. I know it's a simple analogy, but it will. And with each day, find something to improve on. No matter how small it is, find something to improve on. And work on that. Just to, it will get better. I've lost enough friends. I'll give you a story that was told. I remember in flight school, we were all sitting in a classroom one day, and the instructor comes in and goes, "Look to your left, look to your right. Chances are in 5 years that person's not going to be here." Well, when you're young, you're invincible. Like, yeah, whatever. Ain't nothing going to bring me down, nothing. I've lost track, and not that it's many, but I think I've lost 5 friends from flight school. And there might be more. You lose touch with people, you don't find out. But after a couple, here's one of the hardest things. There were guys much better person than I'll ever be. Just really solid guys that, they give you the shirt off their back, and they were just good brothers. And I'm like, why them and not me? Because I'm nowhere near as good as they were. But I'm going to steal a movie quote. Because I love this movie. In Saving Private Ryan, he says, "Earn this" at the end. Don't make their sacrifice mean nothing. You have to continue moving every day. Keep their memories alive, because You were a significant part of their lives. It was a brotherhood. Keep it going. Make sure people remember them. Remember the times you had, the good times, and even the bad times, but remember those times. Don't give in, and keep moving forward. And I mean, I'm still in my walk now, and I mean, it's hard. Trust me, it's so hard. There's days I don't want to continue. I just want to give up and just go away. And I don't mean suicide. I just, you just mean, it's like, man, I just want a fresh start, and because you make mistakes, and some people won't let you forget those mistakes, and you just want a fresh start. But the best thing about failing is a chance to get back up and keep moving and learn and move forward and learn from your mistakes and teach your lessons to other people so they can learn and help others, help another brother and sister out, that they can be helped along with learn from your failures, because we can all learn from each other, and we're all important. So it's I looked at a statistic. I mean, there is that statistic of and we talked about it before, the hashtag 22, that an average of 22 veterans commit suicide a day, and that is way, way too many. And the same thing goes with fire, EMS, and police. I found so many different statistics. I couldn't use those, find a solid number. It's not as high as military, but they're all important. And reach out to a friend. If you haven't talked to a fellow veteran, firefighter, police, EMS in a while, reach out to them. You never know, they might want to hear your voice. You might call them at the right time when they needed you to. So I encourage you to do that. If you need someone to talk to, as I said before, reach out to me. And you can reach out to me on either any of our social media or our website, and I'll listen to you. Also there's a statistic that 200,000 service members leave the military every year. So that's a lot of people that are getting out, and I don't know, maybe they don't go through the same thing that I've been through, but it's a huge change of lifestyle. You go from a very, very structured lifestyle to, well, now you do your own thing, or you got to find your own way. And for some people, I mean, it was hard for me when the first time I got out of the military in '93. I was lost, and lucky for me, I got into the fire department right away, so that kind of put some structure in my life. The National Guard that I had got into right after active duty in '93 was a little different. Not as much structure as I was looking for, but the fire department provided the rest for me. So there's a lot of you guys getting out of the retiring. So reach out, stay in touch with your brothers and sisters, and they're the ones who are going to help you get through, and we can help each other. So I know this was a quick video, and hopefully it shed some light on some of this, and maybe somebody can relate and understand that you're not the only one going through it. And trust me, this was not easy for me to talk about, but if, like I said, if it helps somebody else, that's all that matters to me. So in the next video, we'll talk about ways that I do, things that I do to kind of try to overcome and fight the battle every day. So I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for staying for the whole time and listening.